I'm going to have my regular Wednesday press conference in a few minutes, but before then, we have a special discussion and opportunity for all of us to discuss Sexual Assault Awareness Month. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. The month has been observed nationally since 2001, with obviously the goal of raising public awareness about sexual violence against women, sexual violence against men, and what the opportunities are to correct the problems, but also what the resources are for victims. Every 2 minutes, according to statistics, someone is raped in the United States. And in Texas, 1 in 5 women will be sexually assaulted at one point in her life. It's important for all of us to engage, to try to reduce sexual violence here in the United States. One important tool in reducing sexual violence is having these kinds of public discussions, and in a few minutes we're going to hear from some who are much more expert than I on this issue. But I want to highlight the fact that when we're trying to catch the perpetrators of sexual violence, it's important to do excellent police work. And it is especially important to do excellent work around DNA testing. We've taken important steps here in the city of Houston to upgrade our ability to do that. Earlier this month, the Houston Forensic Science Center formally assumed control and independent management of HPD's crime lab operation. But last year, we also took an important step forward, and that is to take the sexual assault kits that had been languishing for decades within the Houston Police Department's crime lab and sent them off for testing. So resolving a long-standing problem for the city of Houston and for those who went through the indignity of having those sexual assault kits collected. Now we have resolved that problem and are moving forward. But it's not just about the DNA, it's not just about the awareness, it's also about having really excellent police work. And so you're gonna hear about the resources, you're gonna hear about what we do as a department. And first I want to call on City Council member Ellen Cohen to talk about what we can do as a community to combat this issue. Councilmember Cohen.
Thank you, Mayor. As some of you may know, I had the opportunity, the pleasure, and the distinct honor to be the CEO of the Houston Area Women's Center for 18 years, and before that to serve on its board. So I've been involved in this issue for over 20 years. Years ago, there was mythology around the issue of sexual assault. Well, maybe she deserved it. What was she wearing? What part of town was she in? Why was she out so late? Unfortunately, some of those myths still exist. The fact is that sexual assault is an issue that knows no discrimination. It affects women, men, and children of all colors, ethnicities, religions, languages, and clearly in countries around this world where women are regarded as nothing more than a piece of meat. Last year in Houston, there were 1,493 sexual assaults. Reported, absolutely. Thank you very much. Reported, there's no question about it. The fact is, in the period of time that the mayor and I have both been speaking, and I think it's about almost close to 10 minutes since we started the conference, 5 people have been sexually assaulted in this country. So we haven't wiped it out, but we are educating. And press conferences like this make a big difference, and your coverage makes a big difference. I'm particularly thrilled that we were able to test the over 6,000 rape kits that have been languishing at HPD. And at this point, because of the mayor's efforts in making sure that we were able to get a funding so that we could get a lower price on testing those kits, money that we had set aside for the kits are now going to be used for keeping up with sexual assault kits as they are, as we have them, so that if a rape survivor has a sexual assault kit, she or he will know that that kit is going to be tested in a timely fashion. I'm extremely grateful to the mayor. I'm extremely grateful to all the organizations in this city that are working on this issue. And I truly, truly hope that one day there simply won't be a need for a press conference like this. Thank you very much.
So Councilmember Cohen addressed the need for better community awareness to fight the myths around sexual assault. Another aspect, as I mentioned, is that we need good, strong police work, and I want to invite Lieutenant Shamara Garner of the Houston Police Department Adult Sex Crimes Unit Special Victims Division to come forward.
Thank you, Mayor. Hello. April is observed as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in an effort to raise awareness about sexual violence and to educate the community on how to prevent it. Sexual violence occurs when someone is forced or manipulated into unwanted sexual activity. In simple terms, the sex act was unwanted, unwelcomed, and consent was not given. While a person may never completely protect themselves from sexual assault, to minimize risks, I would like to say, first and foremost, trust your instincts in terms of prevention. If you feel, or if anyone feels unsafe in any situation, they are to go with what their gut is telling them and to not ignore that feeling. If someone sees something suspicious, contact law enforcement. Secondly, reporting sexual violence will also help in terms of prevention. Research states that up to 60% of sexual assaults go unreported. Non-reporting could occur because some victims feel they may not be believed. Many want nothing to do with the stigma associated with being labeled a raped victim. To break down those barriers, the Houston Police Department Special Victims Division has embraced a victim-centered approach to the criminal investigation of sexual violence. That is to say, we have implemented multidisciplinary strategies to the investigation of sexual violence, and that we strengthen our partnerships with local community-based advocacy groups, such as the Houston Area Women's Center. We understand a survivor's overall emotional well-being must be addressed in order for them to effectively participate in the criminal investigation. We have taken this approach because we realize eradicating sexual violence does not occur in a vacuum. We have also sharpened our focus and our commitment to make sure that our response to sexual violence is trauma-informed, thoughtful, and professional. In doing so, we have created our sexual assault information line and email address. The telephone number to the information line is 713-308-1400. A crisis-trained respondent is there to answer calls Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The email address is sainfo@houstonpolice.org. This way, survivors, including survivors who reported previously, would have a means of contacting us on their terms and when they are ready. We're also pleased to say that there is now an advocate housed directly within the Sex Crimes Unit. Eradicating sexual violence will take a concerted effort on the part of law enforcement, the judicial system, healthcare, advocacy groups, educators, and the community. Working together, we can take a stand to end sexual violence in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant. So, community awareness, good, strong police action, but we also need resources for the victims. Now I introduce Rebecca White, President and CEO of the Houston Area Women's Center.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm honored to be here among so many outstanding community leaders, and I want to acknowledge one more who won't be speaking, but I appreciate his being here, Councilmember Jack Christie. Thank you for your support. I'm happy to be here talking about how important it is to have a compassionate and coordinated community response to survivors of sexual assault. As a community, we have most definitely made progress, but there's still a good bit of work to be done. I find hope in knowing that we are working side by side with city leaders, with our police department, and with our judicial system. It takes all of us to ensure that justice is served, and we all have an important role to play. Since 1977, the Houston Area Women's Center has served as the city's rape crisis center, offering a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week hotline, counseling services, and emergency room accompaniment to support survivors as they go through the rape kit process. Over the years, we have helped countless thousands of survivors begin their healing process and move their lives forward. Our staff and volunteers have also worked tirelessly to advocate on behalf of victims of sexual assault, to eliminate the stigma that's attached to it, and to make sure that survivors are supported and believed by the systems that serve them. Law enforcement personnel, medical professionals, prosecutors, and judges. We've worked with advocates across the state and across the nation to change laws to make sure that perpetrators are held accountable for their crimes and to make sure that the victims of those crimes are supported and that they have an opportunity to heal from the trauma they've experienced. We're also working harder than ever to stop sexual assault before it ever starts through our primary prevention programs. These programs seek to change the underlying beliefs and attitudes that create and sustain sexually violent behaviors. Our programs encourage healthy relationships that reflect mutual respect, safety, and equality. We work toward the day, as Councilmember Cohen said, when sexual violence is a part of our history and not part of our daily reality. Until that day, we stand ready to serve those who have experienced sexual assault. We want them to know two very important things. First of all, it is not their fault. They are not to blame. The perpetrator is to blame. And secondly, they're not alone. Help is available. Nothing can undo the violation that they've experienced, but help is available. With counseling and support, healing is possible. And that help is only a phone call away. Trained, experienced hotline advocates are there and available 24/7 at 713-528-7273. Whether the assault happened 5 minutes ago or 15 years ago, it doesn't matter. It's not too late. A phone call to the hotline can open the doors to all of the confidential services that we provide at no charge to those we serve. We sincerely hope that anyone who needs our services will make that call and that our community partners will continue to do the important work that they are doing to create a more just and caring community for survivors of sexual assault. I want to thank you all for being here. This is how we start to end it.